Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about motion tracking. So we have a video on TechNet about camera tracking, which is a technique that kind of tracks different points in the scene. And it's really good for attaching things to planes. So if you wanted to put like a poster on a wall or a title on the ground so that it looks like it's part of the scene, then it would be really good to use camera tracking because it works around planes in 3D space and it can detect the angles very well. And today we're going to explore the other tracking tool in After Effects, which is motion tracking. This one is different because you choose a point or an element in your scene and you track that individually instead of the whole space. These are both really important tools and they have different uses, so make sure to check the camera tracking video as well as this one so you can choose which technique is better for what you're trying to do. So we have this clip of this girl doing this terrible moonwalk, and we have also this Sims icon. And so what we're going to do is track the top of her head and create a path, and then tell this icon to kind of follow that path so it follows her as she moves. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to this window on the right and look for tracker. If you can't see it, just go to window on the top and select tracker. And now with our clip selected, we are going to click on track motion. And you'll see this little box appear. Let's just make this window bigger. And now let's make this box bigger by clicking on it and dragging the corners. And as you can see, there's actually two boxes and then a cross in the middle. And if we click on the inside of these boxes and drag them, you can see that we can position this cross wherever we want. So this cross is the exact point you want to track. This inner box is the area the software is looking for and the area that it's going to track. And this outer box is to kind of help with following what's inside the box, basically as a guideline. It really helps if what you're trying to track has a high contrast like this background and her hair. Once you have positioned your target, we're going to go back to our tracker window and press Analyze Forward, which is this thing that looks like a play button. And now let it do its thing. Once that's done, you can always go back and look for any points that are a bit out of place. For example, here in the beginning, if I zoom in, there's just a little bit of a jump, so I'm just going to correct that by moving this box. And making that movement a bit smoother. And then make sure to watch it all the way through to see if you're happy with that. So now we have our path, and what we need to do is apply this tracking information to something to basically make it an element of our composition. And so what we need to do is to create a null object, which is basically an empty layer where we're going to put that tracking information. So to do this, just right click on your timeline, select new, and then null object. And as you can see, it's now in your timeline. Now going back to our tracker window, we're going to click on edit target and then select our null object. It's called null1, then press OK. And now we're going to click apply and then press OK. And there we go. And now if we scroll through our timeline, you can see that that null object is following our subject. So now what we need to do is to link our Sims icon to that null object so that it can follow that tracking. So all we have to do is get this spiral thing next to our layers called Pick Whip. So we want the one from the Sims icon, and if we click on it and drag it to our null object, what that does is it tells the software that you want the Sims icon to inherit the properties of the null object so it behaves like it. So essentially it's going to follow that track. So now if you press play, you can see that the Sims icon moves with the subject. So now the last thing we need to do is align it to where we need it to be. So opening our layer options, we're going to find position and we're just going to drag it to where we want it. So there you go, that's literally it. As you can see, it's working really well. And this is how you do motion tracking in After Effects.